Recently, I received a call from a friend who was concerned about their relative who lives in a care facility. Now, a relative who wears a continence aid day and night had been discovered sitting in a very soiled continence pad, which, after investigation, was found to have been left on for something like 17 hours. Now, there were a number of contributing factors such as staff shortages, but it was also the result of a lack of communication between the team, staff choosing to not wake someone up who's already fallen asleep to change the pad, and possibly urgent issues that needed to be addressed during the night shift. Now, the incident was escalated and reported, but I have to wonder how many other seniors have been adversely impacted by this sort of neglect, and how many seniors living in their own homes or the homes of family members are not being provided with essential care and support, not just from paid care staff, but others who have a responsibility to care. Today, we're looking at the sobering topic of elder abuse and specifically neglect. Hi, I'm Carrie from Culturally Directed Care Solutions, where we give you the knowledge and tools to provide quality care with confidence. If aged care is your thing, then consider subscribing so you can stay up to date with the latest industry concepts and programs. Now, when I talk about neglect, I'm not referring to those times when someone simply neglects to call their grandmother on her birthday or forgets to pick up something requested by the client. We all get busy and we all make mistakes. Neglect occurs when someone fails to properly care for an elderly person. It is generally a result of negligence. Negligence is the lack of action that leads to serious negative consequences. The Australian Royal Commission into Aged Care that commenced in 2018 arose out of a need to address reported cases of abuse and neglect. So if you've worked in the industry for any length of time, you've probably heard some of the issues that were highlighted during that. Neglect, though, is not confined to the formal care setting, as anyone who has the identified responsibility of caring for an older person, be they a paid care worker, a volunteer or family member or friend, has a duty of care to that person, including making sure that their basic needs are met. So let's look at some examples of neglect that I've either heard of or experienced while working in the aged care field. Not supporting and prompting a person with dementia to eat, resulting in the person losing weight. Leaving an older person who can't easily move around outside or alone in the home on a hot day without access to water, so that they end up dehydrated. Withholding water or other liquids to minimise the number of times the person needs to be taken to the toilet or have their continence aids changed. Not bothering to give a person their medication each day, or giving them the wrong amount because the carer didn't pay attention or didn't care to check the amount. Not providing a pureed or texture modified meal to someone who requires it. Not providing a person with essential items like clothing or personal hygiene products, leading the person to become more isolated from society because they just feel ashamed. Leaving a vulnerable person, perhaps someone with dementia, in a public place without adequate support or supervision. Not taking someone to the dentist to repair or replace broken dentures. Deliberately isolating a person from other people who share their culture, their language, or their spiritual affiliation. Not helping a person to access services like podiatry to get their nails trimmed so that they end up having problems walking or have difficulty holding or grasping things because their nails are too long. Perhaps leaving a person who can't easily move around alone and isolated in their room for long periods of time where this is not their choice. Perhaps not providing a person who can't turn over with a specialised mattress that reduces the risk of pressure sores. Family or other service providers and contractors not following through on agreed shared care support, such as changing continence pads over the weekend or after hours, And I'm sure that if you've worked in the aged care sector for any length of time, you've come across these or other examples of neglect. We want to stop that. So if you work in the care industry, how can you prevent neglect? Well, firstly, follow the person's care plan. If you read through and understand just what the person needs and when they need it, it's less likely that essential care and support will be overlooked or inadvertently missed. Secondly, recognise the humanity of a person. Recognise that your client or the resident is a person just like you and I. Recognising the humanity of each and every one of your clients is important. If people are acknowledged for their uniqueness and their individual needs, rather than just being yet another shower to get through or another continence pad to change, you're more likely to have empathy and to respond appropriately and in a timely manner to the needs of that person. Be observant. One of the roles of a support worker is to notice when things are not right and to report them. If you notice that a client or resident is losing weight for no obvious reason, or that they are experiencing more frequent acute health events, or that they're coming into the day centre looking really unkempt or with unchanged continence aids, or if they've told you that their needs are being ignored by staff, then you need to write this up in your progress notes and report this to management for further investigation as soon as possible. And don't forget, if you want to learn how to write professional progress notes, CDCS has a self-paced online course that you can enrol in. Check out the link in the description box below. If you're a care planner, make sure that everyone knows and understands their role. In community care, where family carers are providing some of the support, or there is a shared care arrangement with another provider, then make sure responsibilities are clearly documented in the support plan. Also, talk with family carers. Make sure that they have the knowledge and skills needed to provide any of the support that they've agreed to. Sometimes we assume that carers understand and know instinctively what to do, but you might need to provide or arrange training or education if you identify a lack of knowledge or skills. Lastly, educate older people on their rights. Make sure that older people understand they have rights. This is an important part of making sure people are equipped to address or at least identify something that constitutes elder abuse. If people understand that they don't have to put up with being mistreated, if their self-esteem is maintained and they know of and feel comfortable about seeking support, then they're less likely to tolerate injustice and reach out for help. There are plenty of organisations and resources that can help raise awareness around this topic. The Older Persons Advocacy Network, OPAN, is an Australian-wide organisation that provides advocacy, information and education services to older people. OPAN's services are funded by the Australian Government and they provide free support to older people and their representatives, particularly around addressing issues related to Commonwealth-funded aged care services, and their resources may also be useful to people working in the industry. I'll put a link in the description box below to their website and resources for professionals. Thanks for checking in. If you have any questions or comments to make about this topic, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Just remember to keep them respectful, and I will catch up with you in another video real soon.